Good morning and welcome to Sanlam HQ in Cape Town. I would say beautiful Cape Town, but it is storming outside, but we need to fill our dams. Yes, you still can run, and you can run for something on the 18th of October. My name is Paul Kay. A huge welcome to all our members of the media. Lovely to have you joining us this morning. I hope you got a nice warm cup of coffee or tea next to you. And a massive welcome to our panel. Our guest this morning, Francois Pinault, who's the chairman of the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon.
Thanks,
Ilana Meyer, ambassador for the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. Renee Jordan is the race director for the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, and the general manager, Barry van Berg. Other notable guests we want to welcome this morning, they are joining the live feed. Elena Meyer, Andre Kearns, and Mariska Oosthuizen from Sanlam. From FedHealth, we've got Julie Keenan and Hans Reeders. Good morning to you. Renette Geldenhuys from Woolworths and Matt Jewell from Penbev, as well as all the delegates from the Western Cape Government and the City of Cape Town. We're going to be talking you through some exciting developments. 18th of October is going to be massive, not just in Cape Town, not just in South Africa, not just on the African continent, but for the whole world. I know you're going to have many, many questions, and we'd like to tell you right now, please make sure that your mics are on mute, and any questions that you need to ask, you can do so in the little chat that we have, and we'll be taking and fielding all those questions at the end of our press conference this morning. Tomorrow starts the 100-day countdown to the 18th of October to the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon. 4 distances. And you're going, hold on, aren't there 3? 4 distances, 5K, 10K, the marathon 42.2, and we're reaching a whole new generation of runners with the 21.1 kilometer half marathon as well being added to the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon. This race will be unlike anything any other race organizer has ever tried to undertake, embracing cutting technology with the passion and love for running. You're talking about a 3D audio app. Runners all over the country, the continent, the world will feel that they're in Cape Town. They'll be able to smell the salty sea air off the Atlantic Ocean. They'll be able to hear the sounds of Cape Town. And in their mind's eye, they will see the Cape Town Stadium. They will see Table Mountain. They'll see Robben Island. It's going to be an incredible tour of the world's most beautiful city. This is truly a virtual race like no other. Just watch this as we explain a little bit more.
Get ready to run the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon wherever you are in the world on the 18th of October 2020. Your virtual race will be managed by a unique app which will use your phone's GPS technology to track your progress on race day in real time. What's more, it will display your actual route as well as your virtual progress on the Cape Town Marathon route. So, no matter where you are, you will be tracked as if you're running the actual race. And here's where the magic will happen. Thanks to cutting-edge technology, your race will be further enhanced with dynamic surround sound from the moment you press start. Watch the start ceremony with the lighting of the peace torch and the singing of the national anthem before the start gun kicks off your run. Get notified of your progress along the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon route, while information about iconic landmarks is shared via the virtual app.
The Cape Town City Hall was built in 1905 and was also the first place from where Nelson Mandela spoke after his release.
Listen to the unique sounds you'd experience along the traditional Cape Town Marathon route, while your feet tread the familiar ground of your current location.
Come on, let's go.
And revel in the goosebump-inducing finish line excitement when you listen to the exuberant South African cheers at the end of your race.
You've done it.
Reignite your passion through a world-first virtual race experience. We are bringing the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon to you, wherever you are. Go to www.capetownmarathon.com and register to run the 5 or 10 kilometer peace runs, our all-new virtual half marathon or the marathon. The race is on.
So virtual racing has exploded all over the world during the lockdown. But this is going to be the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that we're all going to be measured by the same yardstick using one app for everybody. And I know there are going to be a lot of questions about that app, and we'll deal with some of it as we talk things through this morning. But we'll give you a chance to ask all those questions at the end. We need to introduce to you a dream coming true. A huge dream coming true. I mean, this man's achieved a lot in his life, and a lot of his dreams have become a reality. And another one of those dreams is becoming a reality. Is going to be announced this morning. We're going to be talking about the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon's ambassador, an ambassador on a global scale. That we've wanted this individual to run the Cape Town Marathon for a very, very long time. I had an opportunity to chat with this individual earlier. But Francois, maybe you need to tell us just a little bit more.
Yeah, Paul, when I became chairman of the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, you start dreaming. Now, first of all, you think locally. We want to put on a tremendous event in South Africa. Then you think about the continent. How can we build a marathon that everybody on the continent would come and run? And proudly, we can say the last 3 years, we've achieved IAAF gold label status as the only marathon on the African continent to have that label. And then you think global. Because you want to build an event that's a global event that everybody want to come and run. And that's where we set our stall out at the beginning, and that's been the dream. And I'm going to announce a part of that dream, only a part of that dream come true, because I still want this global icon to come and run the beautiful streets of Cape Town. Now, Paul, last year we had people from 85 countries all over the world fly in to come and run beautiful Cape Town. That's not going to happen because of lockdown. But we want to give those people a virtual experience like no other race has ever done in the world. And to do that, we need a global ambassador, a global rock star, somebody that's done stuff on the sports field where people just go, that is insane. Now, probably one of the best athletes in modern day Olympics. That's what people say. He is a world champion. He's a multiple Olympic gold medalist. And he has world records in various distances. But I'm not going to reveal who he is. Take a look on our global ambassador for the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon.
Hi everyone, it's Mo Farah, official ambassador for Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon. I would love some competition, so come and run with me the 10K Peace Run. It's coming. Yes, it's October the 18th. So sign up, have a chance to run with me in the streets of Cape Town. I'm really looking forward to it, to running a 10K Peace Run. So come and join me. Don't forget, it's October the 18th. Let's put in the work and train for it. And I'm really looking forward to taking part and get to run with you guys. So sign up today. I'll see you soon.
Oh, Farah, absolute pleasure. The last time we saw each other was 7 months ago, December, and the world was a very, very different place, and we're facing quite unique and unprecedented challenges right now. How do you stay positive and motivated during these times?
Yeah, no, it's very different to how it was when we met in December in that race, and we really enjoyed ourselves, massive crowd, and obviously a lot has changed all around the world, not just here in the UK or South Africa. We have to remember the good times and stay positive. For me, this time it actually got me closer to my family. We've been locked together for months. I've got 4 beautiful kids and a great wife. And we've been staying together and just doing home activities, getting the kids, doing their homework, getting involved in cycling, getting out once a day. It was originally once a day, you guys, and that's what we've been doing. But we just have to, we're all in this together. It's not just one person or one country, it's the whole world. And we just have to stay positive. Keep the body ticking.
You mentioned the Olympics. Let's just go back in time. Almost 8 years ago, 4th of August, 2012, lining up with 28 of the best in the world, including the likes of Kenenisa Bekele, world record holder, Olympic record holder, champion. And you walked into the stadium on home soil and the place erupted. Even Usain Bolt says he's never heard a noise that loud in all his career. I mean, what was that like for you? Did you hear it or did you shut it out? Did it give you more pressure?
No, definitely leading up to it. I did the previously World Championship. I was second, and then won the 10K. I was not second, and then the 5K I've won. So leading up to it, I knew it was going to be tough and harder, and it was quite a lot of pressure to knowing that Olympics is right in your doorstep in London, where I grew up. But I never saw that as an obstacle. I saw that as a positive thing, and I saw 75,000 people in that stadium are here for me, and just made the most of it. And obviously, it was, as you said, he had Kenenisa Bikili, you had the Kenyan guys, the Eritrean guys. You had everybody in that race, and also the American Galen Rupp, and you had everybody. So it wasn't just me, but I knew in myself, if I believed in what I'd done outside in training and all the competitions I've had, it just made me realize, there's nothing I could have done apart from, respect the guys and turn up at the line and try and win the race. And it was a tough race, but I believe the crowd and the home soil made a big difference for me. And I know some people might see it differently and think, oh my God, and a lot more pressure. But for me, I saw that as a positive thing. And it was a memorable moment, and it changed my entire life, and it's something that carries me till this day.
There's no more ticking over for you, Mo. You have decided you are participating in the Sanlam Cape Town 10-kilometer virtual peace run in October. So you've got about 4 months to be in your best shape ever. You're going to go out there and just have lots of fun with the rest of the world, or you're going to go out there and chase new records?
I'm always love to give 110%. I never want to turn up and go, well, yeah, I'm just going to have a little jog.
The Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon theme is Run for Something in 2020. And often it's important, despite just having a goal, to motivate yourself through the tough times of training and the tough time in the run by doing it for more than just yourself, by running for something. How does this resonate with you?
Yeah. No, it's really important to run for something. If it's that joy at the end, if it's for your loved ones, if it's creating, funds and charity, running for charity, we're all running for something. And as like myself, I know I'm running towards something, and I want to give it back to the people who supported me, the training I put into it, the times you've been away from your family. So at the end, it's like, it's going to be worth it, and that's what drives me. And it's important for everybody who's running Cape Town Marathon is to know, you're going to give it your best, and all the training, all the little things, putting the kids to bed and try and get your run done. And there's a lot of stuff. It's not comes with it. So just make most of it and believe in the training you've done and the goal.
Our headline sponsor, Sanlam, as part of the virtual race this year, they're supporting cancer, the Cancer Association of South Africa. You've always been very passionate about giving back, about philanthropy. I would imagine this really resonates with you.
Yeah, for sure. In life, if we can make a difference for 2 or 3 people, 100 people, we should try and help others. And I think it always have to come from somewhere. And for me, I'm going to have a fortunate life the way I did, as I said, as a kid. For me, I grew up in Somalia, came to the UK age of 8, not speaking a word of English, and now to know what I achieved and what I gave back to my country, that drives me. And later on down the line, we have opportunity to be able to give back to the community and charities, and that's what I like to do. And I know there's a lot of people who, hasn't been given that chance, and it's important, like myself, to support charities, and particularly, as I said, I'm an ambassador for Save the Children, and I'm always giving back to kids because I know as a kid it'll make a difference. If for myself now, if they see you as a role model and you just turn up to them and say hi to them and give them time, or let them see that, they will never forget that. And I like myself, and I'm lucky to have a lot of friends through sports, and I see them now, and when I was younger, someone I saw on telly, and excited even seeing them now. And I think it's important for children.
Every drop of sweat on the 18th of October all around the world will make a difference in other people's lives. You mentioned you've been to South Africa many times, training at Potchefstroom, you've been in Cape Town, but you haven't raced yet. When can we expect to see you racing a gold label marathon on the African continent? And maybe maybe challenging some of your fellow marathon runners from all around the world to come and race the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon?
No, I would love to run the Cape Town Marathon. As you said, for me, it's important that you love what you do and you still enjoy it. And you get nervous talking about it, and when you turn up, that's what makes it different. And as I said, this year we have an Olympics. Obviously, it was supposed to happen in August, but it's been pushed back 2021. So I'm going to concentrate on the Olympics in the 10,000 meters, and I believe Hungary still won more medals. And after that, we'll maybe plan, going back to the marathon. But for now, the minute is just concentrate, put everything towards 2021 Tokyo Olympics.
Well, we hope you'll come back to your roots. We hope you bring Kenenisa with you, bring Iliad with you, and come and race Africa's only gold medal marathon, the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. Mo Farah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and good luck everybody who's running Cape Town Marathon in October. We're all in this together, so let's go.
So your dream is partially true, Francois.
Yeah, it's there.
Partially
I mean,
true.
Sir Mo Farah running, he's global ambassador and running the 10K peace run. And I love it when he says, I get nervous when I talk about running because he's such a competitor. And to have him is fantastic. Now we're thinking global. So more and more people after lockdown flying to Cape Town and come and run this beautiful Sanlam Cape Town Marathon.
Thanks to technology, we're all, no matter where you are, you can be part of this. And you're thinking global, but you're not going to be challenging Mo to the Captain's Challenge, but I know you've got a couple of people you're going to be challenged. It's been going around. It's a bit of a tradition with the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. Talk us through the Captain's Challenge.
Yeah, the Captain's Challenge. So we challenge, Ilana and I, captains of industry, captains in politics, captains in sport, and we've built this whole program around challenging people to come and run for something. And I can talk about the two Smiths that I challenged. The one is Graham Smith, the cricket captain,
Yep.
and the other one, John Smith, the rugby captain. So I've challenged them, and I mean, John, he's not the lightest guy in the world.
He can ride a bike.
But he ran it and he finished. Unfortunately, there's a saying, look after your knees because you'll miss them when they're gone. Now, mine is partially gone. So this year, I want to challenge the captain of industry. I want to go out of sport and challenge somebody to run for something, a captain of industry. And we're going to run the 10K peace run. And I'm challenging the chief marketing architect of the Sanlam brand, Sydney Mbele, to come and run the 10K. He talks a lot and he talks beautifully about partnerships, but you can only be a real partner if you've run together.
Run for something and run together, the Captain's Challenge. And that's a wonderful segue as we're going to actually chat a little bit now to Sydney. You cannot do great things without great partnerships and without great teams. It's impossible. And Sanlam's been a wonderful partner to the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon since 2014. And it's no longer a partnership. It's very much a very, very happy marriage, helping this race do great things, helping more and more people run for something. And I think we're going to hand over now. He's online all the way from Johannesburg. I hope it's not raining and it's not windy because it is down here, to Sydney Mbele. Let's hear from you. Have you accepted the challenge from Francois?
Well, let me first thank you for having me today. Thank you very much for giving me such a privilege. For my sins, I'm scheduled to speak after an interview with the legendary Mo Farah. I mean, how do you top that? He's such a tough act to follow. What a humble guy, I guess it's both intimidating, but also a privilege. Francois, it is testament to the caliber of this race that it has attracted the participation of a person of Mo's legendary status, a world champion, as we know, an Olympic gold medalist taking part in our own, Africa's only gold status marathon. And I think for me, it's something very precious and very special to celebrate. So thank you for inspiring us with your heartfelt message, Mo Farah, and thank you for the ongoing commitment to run for something. Now, it is interesting to know what the for something in the run for something means to different people. For Semo, something means winning. It also means setting an example to his children and to the world at large. He's a global icon. He's a global role model, and it means the responsibility to meaningfully make a difference. For me, for something means that once again we've been given the privilege and an honor actually to be more purposeful as a business and as a brand. So many around us and right here at home have lost their lives, and so many have lost their jobs over the last few months due to the pandemic. Let me take this time to appreciate all of those on the front lines working against the scourge of coronavirus. And let me also pass our heartfelt condolences to those who've lost their lives during this time. What would we be in our position of influence not to use the platforms that we have to be more inclusive, to be more impactful, and to be more servant? We've done it before, and we've done it for so many causes, and today the world calls upon us to do something more. And for Sanlam, I need to say that Run for Something refers to our long-standing mission to make a tangible impact in the communities that we serve. And by consistently being the headline sponsor for this race, we hope to unite people locally and abroad. We want to shine a spotlight on the magic that is this country. And we want to celebrate the potential of the African people here and across the continent. We want to continue to celebrate and to support the charities and causes that we've been committed to. And we want to encourage others to join us on this incredible journey. Now, more than ever, we are all seeking ways to lift one another up. It's been very phenomenal to see how people have pulled together during this pandemic, and it's brought out the beautiful moments of kindness and connectedness. And we believe that this virtual race will continue to amplify these efforts. And I do sincerely believe that together we can move the needle and change lives for generations to come. So with only 100 days to go, plus minus, we are kicking off our fundraising efforts with 100,000 donation to cancer. Please join our efforts to raise funds for this phenomenal charity via the Gift and Gain platform. On race day, we are committed to getting 5,000 of our own staff, of Sanlam staff, around the globe to run for cancer. And of course, as you can see from my beaming smile, we are extremely excited about virtual race, which means that no matter where you are in the world, you can run for something. You can experience the of the mother city while doing so. And you had Sam Mo Farah say it himself. This virtual race promises to bring all the iconic elements of Cape Town and its race to its global participant base in a truly immersive and an exciting way. And I'm personally looking forward to experiencing it. This is the new normal, but an exciting one from that perspective. Look, Francois, thank you for the nomination. I did run the 10K last year. I think I've had enough of a practice now to come back and smash some records this year. So I duly, respectfully accept your challenge to run the 10K race again. But I also want to nominate someone, Jeremy Yett from Fed Health, the CEO of Fed Health. You're not gonna get away with this. I want you there on the ground to do the same. And to my other dear colleagues and friends and family, don't you also think you're off the hook? I'll be challenging you too. Let's put up our masks, let's show up and let's show up. I'm excited for the roar of the crowds, which I'm hoping to experience on the Yap as I approach the finish line. And this year, it will be a virtual chorus, of course, because, we know we're doing this very differently. And I know that, that Gies is going to be as epic as ever. Thank you to everyone who consistently support the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. Whether you're a runner or a spectator, or whether you represent the media, you've helped to build this race into truly a global event that it is today. Thank you to Semo and South Africa's own ultramarathon champion, Gerda Steyn, who will also race in the UK and Dubai, respectively. And your participation, I need to say, is amazing and showcases that anyone can run this race anywhere in the world. At Sanlam, we applaud and thank everyone who helped bring this virtual race together so quickly. We are extremely proud that it's the first marathon of its kind on this continent of Africa. And we encourage people around the world to join us and run for something. Now, Francois, based on your challenge, I'd better get training, and let me leave the rest to you guys there in Cape Town. Over to you, Paul. Thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you very much, Sydney and Mbele. For a while, Francois, I thought Sydney
was
was
gonna get
not
out of the race.
accepting I really thought he wasn't accepting the
No,
challenge.
he teed it up nicely. Very
But
good.
look, there was some important stuff we needed to talk about.
Yeah.
The run for something, the support for cancer, the Cancer Association of South Africa, 100,000 Rand. Now, in these tough times during lockdown, when the economy is being pounded, not only locally but globally, that is massive, that they're still such a wonderful partner of the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon, that Sydney has accepted and also is passing on the challenge, and that challenge being passed on to the one and only Jeremy Yat, the Principal Officer of FedHealth. Good morning to you, Jeremy. Do you accept? Hello, Jeremy. Well, I'm trying to lip read. He says, yes, he accepts, and he says that he will do the 42.2, not the 10K.
I think there's a medal in his hand.
So last year, I was so inspired by everything that I saw that I entered into the marathon and completed it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But this year, I think 10K will do for me.
So that is Jeremy accepting. We did hear that. The whole world has heard that. Jeremy, just talk us through a bit more of this fantastic partnership between FedHealth and the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think, any runner will tell you there's a fair amount you can control in running. Things like your training program, your nutrition, the brand of running shoe, which I hope you've all got the right running shoe. But a global pandemic is not one of those things. And thanks to COVID-19, we've all had to make sense of the new normal, homeschooling our kids, Zoom meetings, Teams, the national lockdown. Hopefully no one's missing their cigarettes in this particular environment. And many of us have had to come to terms with losing loved ones, jobs, opportunities, human interaction that is so important to us, that means so much to our daily lives. So 2020 has been a bit of a tough year for everyone. When FedHealth was invited to become a sponsor of the prestigious Cape Town Marathon, we jumped at the chance. We liked the race's ethos and its natural alignment with our own brand, which is also in the business of promoting health, fitness, and well-being. So naturally, when other well-known races started cancelling events due to the pandemic, we were concerned about where that would leave the 2020 Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. It turns out we needn't have worried, since the race organizers really went above and beyond to conceptualize a unique virtual experience that will bring the event to runners anywhere in the world. We're excited about the new possibilities that this year's online event opens up for runners. We hope to get more Fed Health members psyched up to enter the event, since there's no travel or accommodation costs or complications to deal with a 5, 10, 21 and 42 kilometer events to choose from. There's a race for every fitness level, and there's no reason not to get off the couch and participate. If COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's that our health is to be cherished above all else. This outbreak has once again showed that people with comorbidities are in far greater danger from dying from COVID-19 than their healthier, fitter counterparts. So we're talking about people with diabetes and hypertension in particular, and these are non-communicable diseases often caused by lifestyle and something that people can actually do something about. So more than ever, it's important to lace up those running shoes and to make sure you have a good medical aid. To the 2020 Sanlam Cape Town Marathon virtual event, we say, bring it. Fed Health looks forward to experiencing this iconic event a little differently this year and helping all its participants gain better health and fitness in the process. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me to present here today.
Thank you very, very much to Jeremy Yatt. That was an emphatic yes. You challenged Sydney. Sydney challenged Jeremy. Jeremy says yes. And he's challenging, obviously, anybody and everybody that's involved with Fed Health. He made a good point when he was talking about how so many races have cancelled, and then applauded all of you for the hard work you've done in creating this app. And I'm looking forward to talking more about that a bit later on. But if anything, this crisis has taught us to be innovative, and it's also taught us to focus on health. You're using innovation and technology to inspire people to be healthy, because there's a lot of people stuck on the couch he was talking about, just on their device. Now the device is going to get them running. But what I want to know, Ilana, do we have elite athletes joining us on the 18th of October, other than Francois, Sydney, and Jeremy and Mo?
You know, Paul, this has been just such a devastating year. I think, so many people just want to scratch 2020 out of the calendar. True's word, this team has worked incredibly hard to create something really special. The Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon will happen. Yes. It's been a year where, races has been cancelled. So I've got really good news that, in a year that we didn't see the Olympics, most of the big city marathons have been cancelled. The Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon will have an elite field on the day.
Are you going to be hinting at any names?
So the names we will introduce a little bit later, but I can say that, it will probably be the best ever elite field, South African elite field that we will have. The runners will line up on the 18th of October, and they will run fast, and they will run for something special.
Well, you've given them a goal. You wanted to say something.
No, we can't share everything.
Oh, come
We
on.
can't share everything. I'm so excited what we will share in time on the elite field. It's going to be, again, innovation like you've never seen before. But we will reveal that a little bit later, Paul.
And people, not just the media, but kind of everybody will be able to participate and watch this unfold. So there's a lot happening. There's a huge amount of innovation. I mean, if you just look at Renee and Barry, they're smiling and they're looking fresh because they got up extra early, had a very long hot shower, but they haven't slept for weeks. I mean, what they've done in the last couple of weeks is almost unheard of. I mean, I've done a lot of virtual races, but none with an app. So, this, and getting the elites to race as well, giving them a goal, that's awesome. Talking about elites, Ilana, are you running?
Absolutely. So for sure, I haven't decided, maybe in Stellenbosch, where I live, maybe in Jonkershoek, where it's really beautiful, or maybe, joining the elites to just check them out for a lap or two. So I will be there. I will run for something special and, be part of, an event that you will never forget.
You can run anywhere, which is great. And no matter where you run, you're running in Cape Town. And you're going to be running with, I'm not going to put any numbers out there, but we're talking probably the biggest event of its kind on the planet. Who are you running with? got the family
So
running with
maybe
you,
my
friends,
family,
neighbours.
at this stage, things are changing every day, every week. So, maybe with my family in Stellenbosch, maybe joining the elites to check them out. So I haven't have a fixed plan yet, but I will be there. I'll be lining up, and I will do it for something special.
So you can run against Ilana, so best you get training. To all of you, just remember, keep putting your questions in the chat. We'll be dealing with those shortly. But I know what will probably answer some of those questions is our General Manager, Barry van Black, our Race Director, Renee Jordan. We're going to chat to them a little bit. Barry, let's start with you. The innovation happening here in terms of what you're actually doing at a virtual race, where theoretically up until now, virtual races, start your watch, dagatya, you come back, stop your watch, upload it, and that's it. But there's so much more happening at the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon.
No, exactly, Paul. And we've spoken a lot today about partnerships. And I'd like to take my hat off to Woolworths. So last year, they were a partner or a sponsor, and they knew that the plan was they would do the 30-kilometer water point, they would do the catering at the VIP tent, the athletes and the media. But this year, none of that's going to be there. So, and Renette and their team has also applied their minds and been really innovative. And they've come up and they're sponsoring 15 fully stocked water points across the countries at Woolly stores. The locations will still be announced, but we're also going to challenge or invite the runners to plan their routes to go past one of these water points. And when I say fully stocked, I know there's going to be potatoes, chocolate, sweets, energy bars, water, Coke. So once we've announced it, please plan your routes to go past and to share that excitement. Because, to have a race, virtual race, and to have water points, that's unheard of. And then also we've... I'm a runner, but I've never knew how important it is to runners to have a medal. And we see the comments.
Are we talking medals? A virtual race with medals?
Not a virtual a
real
medal. A real
I'm not
medal.
going to email it to you. No. It'll be posted to you.
And again, take my hat off to Sanlam. They've backed us, and in terms of their partnership, what allows it is that we can send all the marathon and half marathon runners, local runners, actual medal after the race. We know the runners has been asking for it, so we can happy to announce that we will be sending for the marathon and half marathon local runners medals.
That is big news. I know that's answering a lot of questions. Renette Geldenhuys, I know you are super fit. I expect to see you running on the 18th of October and the rest of your Woolies team, Louis and the crew. And phenomenal that at a virtual race that there are physical aid stations, and with a partner like Woolies, you're able to do that all across the country. We need to talk a little bit more about the app. We need to talk a bit more about how that's going to work, how we're going to immerse people, no matter where they run, in the gees, as Sydney said, of Cape Town. Renee, just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, essentially the app is a racing app. So as you saw in the promo video earlier, it really captures the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon on your phone. And I know many people is asking, when can they download it? So it's not ready for download yet. And how it works is because it's a racing app, you would first have to follow the entry process through our website, capetownmarathon.com. And then once you've entered, and then much closer to the event date, you will get a unique code that would allow you to download the app. And it will also then prompt you to do a little bit of a demo run. And that's just to test your phone, make sure that it's set up correctly.
So can you call that a training run?
You probably can, yes. And it's just going to be to make sure that your phone, the GPS settings are correct. This is the one app that you do want to turn on your GPS location. Don't be off the grid for that day. And that's, of course, because we want to track you. It goes into the global leaderboard and the results. And I think that's the two main features of the app. It's the world-class tracking and the audio experience. And you'll be experiencing it on the 18th of October like you would have in Cape Town. So I think that mindset is just that it's not an app that you download long in advance and play with it. It is a racing app. And and then, of course, on the day you'd have the app and you would watch the start ceremony like you would have been in Cape Town.
Hand on your heart for the anthem.
And definitely national anthem, peace flames. So you'll probably see pre-recording of Franswa and Yolanda with the peace flame ceremony. And and then you'll press the start button and you'll start running. And that's when your race would start. And I think if you look at those features, we can confidently say that it's a virtual race like no other. We're very excited about it.
So as I understand it from discussions we've had earlier, and I know Francois has already told me very politely, don't reveal all the secrets yet, save some for later. But so let's say I'm running in Somerset West where I live, or maybe out in Worcester, and I'm running along and I get to the 3K mark and suddenly it's going to talk to me and say, oh, you are now just going past, I don't know, the Cape Town Stadium or whatever the case may be. So it really does, it makes you feel that you're running the actual route.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we've spent a lot of time developing and working on the app and the audio experience. So, I mean, we've mentioned it before, but you know, you'll be running in, for example, where you come into the first couple of kilometers in Cape Town, you would have been running on the Sea Point Promenade. So whether you're running in Pretoria or New York, you will then hear, you know, you so many Ks in and you'll hear the actual waves crashing and the seagulls, and then our voiceover artist would take you through this journey of telling you, you know, it's the Sea Point Promenade, taking you through points of interest. But we're also going to find the balance. You know, we don't want it just to be like an educational app. It is still a race after all. So you're going to hear the crowds cheering you on, you know, motivational messages, points of interest. It's to find that balance. Yeah. So we're very excited about it.
So for somebody like Mo, who's in London, or anybody across the world, I'm hoping, Ilana, you're challenging all your old friends you made from your many, many visits and huge success in Japan. And I'm sure from your rugby days, you've got mates all over the world. Challenge them all to do this, and they will really, I mean, if they just don't close your eyes, you will trip. But if you just virtually close your eyes, you will virtually be in Cape Town, which is incredible. And you've done this in a very short space of time, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I know, we chatted about it earlier. I think with a normal event, you'd be planning the logistics. You know, you'll be planning road closures. You'll be dealing with all of those plans. And this year, when we were thrown the curveball, we started talking about launching the virtual race. And although it's been done previously, we wanted to do something very different and very unique. And with that comes challenges, because there's no textbook or project plan that you can just open and, you know, follow the steps. You constantly learning. You know, you have to be innovative and just learn through the process. And I think it's making decisions quickly. And for us, the journey is always, every decision we make is about what would the athlete experience be. And that's important to us.
Can I that's exactly, the experience is going to differentiate our virtual marathon to any other marathon. It's got to be that experience of Cape Town, so that when we are free again to go and run and travel the globe, that more people will come in. And that's why we've got a global ambassador. That's why we're giving people an experience they would never have had on any app. So they've run virtual races, but like you said, this is going to be unique. It's totally personal, and you're going to have some real fun doing it.
The one thing and we're going to be taking questions from the media soon, so I'll be able to pass on those questions and we'll get a chance to answer them. So we'll be taking those questions. You can start loading up the questions for us. We're looking forward to answering your questions for you. But the one thing that I've seen with virtual racing, having participated in quite a few and watching how other brands are doing it, these virtual races have seemingly reduced the barrier to entry in terms of a lot of people intimidated. Do they have the right shoes? Are they wearing the right clothing? Maybe they don't want to be in the crowds. Maybe they don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. to stand in a long line at a porta potty before they start the run. You know what I mean? There's a big window of time in which you can do this. You're creating more runners.
No, definitely. We actually also spoke about it before, you know. So all of a sudden, my kids, I've got an 8-year-old and 11-year-old, that would normally do a fun run, we go and do the park runs, but all of a sudden, you know, they're going to experience the Cape Town Marathon, and they're going to hear it, experience it, and that would maybe, hopefully, motivate them to set their targets to one day when they're old enough, they can go and run the actual marathon.
We made a brave decision to bring in the 21 because 21 aspirational.
That's actually huge.
Yeah, 21 to get to the marathon. Yeah. So that's the nice mix, and hopefully we can convince those people that have run 21 virtually this year in the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon will come back the year after and come and do the actual race.
Now I know we've got the City of Cape Town delegates and the delegates from the Western Cape government watching. Does that mean we can have a physical 21 when we're no longer locked down, when we're not virtual racing anymore? Don't answer the question, we'll answer that later. So just a reminder, in the chat box, type in your questions. We'd love to answer any and all questions. We've got Barry, our general manager, Renee, our race director. They're very gladly answer your questions. Francois is happy to be challenged to maybe upgrade from the 10 to the, never mind, he'll stay at 10 for the captain's challenge. Ilana, which distance are you running?
Probably maybe the half. You know, it's been my favorite distance
That's
all
your
along.
distance.
You know,
Oh, yes.
I've traveled to Japan so many times to do it, so I will probably run the half. You know, and then make the cup full later.
Well, I like that. So here's one of our first questions. Will runners be able to run the actual route if you are in Cape Town?
Look, we would encourage runners to stick to their neighbourhoods. I mean, for us, the whole purpose behind the virtual race that was to allow people to not travel, you know, stay within the COVID restrictions. So we want to encourage them to stay in your local neighbourhood, in your local towns, and you know, plan your route. As Barry said earlier, you know, we've partnered with Woolworths. You know, I think it could be quite an exciting challenge with your mates to say, like, let's find the perfect route. It's the first time you can run a downhill Cape Town Marathon. You know, you can basically find the best possible route and make that part of your planning, you know. So obviously, if you live on the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon route, yes, of course, then you're allowed to run in Newlands or around Rondebosch Common, you know, but we definitely don't want to encourage runners to go to the regional route.
Yeah, I think runners need to be responsible.
Yes.
And that's the key message. You don't run it this year, but come back and run it next year when you can actually run it. Make this a unique experience. Yeah. Go and carve out a route in your neighborhood with your mates.
Go past the Woolies.
Go past the Woolies.
Create aid stations at so-and-so's
Exactly.
home for a coffee or whatever.
Just
Yeah.
be responsible. That's,
Yes.
that's what we're saying to our runners.
Well, hopefully President Cyril Ramaphosa, I know he's always walking up and down the promenade, the beachfront, we can get him to run it. And it'll be a downhill start for him initially. I mean, he'll be so fast. It'll be great to get him running. I won't give anything away. For my virtual runs, I chose the flattest route I could find. But I heard a story of a cyclist who, in a bike race he did, went to the top of a mountain, got dropped off by his dad, and did all 90 Ks downhill. Next question for the team. Must the data, or depending, data or data, whichever you like to call it, be switched on the phone for the whole run?
No, not necessarily. So, but also the app was specifically designed that it's a data light app. So, but if you want to appear or be shown throughout the run on the virtual leaderboard, you must have your data on. But again, I just want to emphasize, it won't take a lot of data. It will only every 1 kilometer update your time. So only every 1 kilometer it will sync use data to sync to the leaderboard. But you can also run the whole race with no data, and then you can just sync your run afterwards onto the app and then appear on the leaderboard.
That kind of answers the second question, where it was, you know, you said the app's quite data light. That means it's probably also pretty battery power light. So
Yeah.
there's no chance, even in 6-7 hours, that your battery's going to die.
Yes. Again,
Make sure you start fully charged.
Yeah, that's crucial. But also the app is designed that, I mean, I don't understand the language, but I believe how it was explained to me, there's an algorithm running that kind of takes into account that your battery won't run out. So it kind of measures, it will take fewer GPS trackings as they see your battery is going to run out. So everything is set up that you will be able to.
You guys have thought of everything.
It's a responsible app.
Yeah.
It's a responsible.
We want responsible runners to use responsible apps. Another question, is there audio for the whole route? So if it's not being narrated at the time, are you hearing the seagulls? Are you hearing somebody shout, "Ho Biana Ho," or "Mowbray Cape Town," or whatever the case may be? I mean, is that sounds of Cape Town for the entire run?
Yeah, we're trying to find the balance. You know, of course, there's the 5, the 10, the half, and the full. So if you're running the 5, you know, you would be experiencing about 3 to 5 audio prompts through the voiceover. But there's also a balance. So, and of course, it's also how long you're going to run, because I would, for example, run the marathon in 5 hours, but somebody else can do it, or Ilana can do it much faster. So again, and it's how the app is being designed to make the audio experience balanced, but also with music. So there would be an option where you can listen to your own music on the app, whether it's through Apple Music or Spotify or something like that, of course, if you want to be using data. And then that would be balanced out with the audio prompts that we're giving you.
There's been a huge amount of thinking going into this, and I'm going to refer to that shortly. But, you know, runners, they're used to running with their race number on. And I love having race numbers because it's often got the athlete's name on it. So it's easy to encourage the athlete by name. Are our runners going to get race numbers?
Yes, most definitely. Not a race number. the name is going to be printed on it. So if you run down the streets in Stellenbosch, you know, but everybody already knows Ilana in Stellenbosch, you know, they can shout Ilana.
Not only Stellenbosch.
Yeah, so they will get race numbers. We for the marathon and half marathon runners, it will be posted to them if they enter before a certain date. But the 10 and 5Ks and people that enter after a certain date will get a URL that they just have to click on. If we email to them, they can print it and just stick it on.
In traditional races, you have a date of the entries opening and then not that long thereafter, which is quite a while before the race itself, entries close. The wonderful thing about a virtual race, that's not going to be the case here, is it?
Look, we want people to obviously enter in advance. I mean, we have more surprises up our sleeves if you enter by certain dates, which we will also be announcing in the near future. You know, so we want people to of course, enter early and also do that little demo run and make sure that their phones are optimized. But we would probably close entries much later than we would usually have done for a normal event. But we don't see it being like closing on the day because, of course, you have to make sure your phone's ready, that you've downloaded the app, you've received your code. So there's still a bit of admin that needs to be done. But yeah, so also don't leave it too late. Make sure you enter early.
Paul, I guess the people that have run virtual races know that there's not a lot involved in running a virtual race. There's a lot more in this. So when the app is then launched and you can download it, that's the exciting times. But go onto the website now. Make sure that you get your entry numbers. And that's the call to action. This is going to be a virtual race like no other race has actually been able to put together.
And the thing is, I mean, get everybody that you know to come and race with you. You know, you've got the captain's challenge. I mean, I challenge everybody that enters to challenge others. Another great question from our assembled media is, what inspired you to create this innovation, this historic app?
Yeah, when it started to become clear that we have a serious crisis in the world, we sat with the team and we did three things. We said, let's plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we hope is not a strategy, but let's plan for the worst. And we said the worst is that it's highly unlikely that there's going to be 30,000 people allowed on the promenade. So that's unlikely. It's unlikely that people will be able to fly and travel across borders. And we've built this incredible race now that's the only gold label status on the African continent. Let's not hurt the race. So let's have two options. Let's go and build something virtually that nobody else has done. And that was a brave and bold decision. But let's also see what happens. So if it's not as serious and people are allowed to run, then we can switch on. But we had to now cancel the actual race because of where the world is in. But in working in tandem is putting together an app to give people an experience that they've never had before. It's very unique. And we want people to have so much fun in doing this. Yes. This is the key element, you know, their families, their friends, in their neighborhoods, the schools, the universities, your mates. You can do any one of these races and get fit for that. I mean, it's so important to get yourself fit, but you're going to have an experience like it's going to go
like no
wow.
other. And the thing here is, when we go back to real racing, we're still going to have the virtual race, aren't we? We're still going to let the whole world participate. I see no reason why it should suddenly have to disappear. I see the questions are pouring in. The coffee and the Java has kicked in. Let's see, what time span do the runners have to start their runs? Renee, you're the race director.
Yeah, so in our initial briefings, we said, you know, everyone had to start at 6 or 6:30 local time. But then we received a lot of feedback, especially for international runners and those going into winter. You know, you don't want to be starting necessarily your race at 6:30 in October in London. So we've opened that window so people can now start between 6 and 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and then, so now that's starting times. Are we still going to have cutoffs?
Yeah, so we still have cutoffs, and that's 6.5 hours for the marathon. If I recall correctly, it's 1.5 for the 5, I think 2.5 for the 10, and I think 3.5 for the half marathon. And look, I mean, it's for the simple reason I think your phone is also going to only last that long. So, but we've made it very lenient cutoffs, and I don't think anyone would struggle to finish within those time limits.
And the great thing for me, it's actually about starting. I've got another question. Stephen Granger, he's asked this question before, and he just wants to see if you've got any more clarity. You know, we were speaking to Ilana about the elite racing, and I would imagine if we're going to have a form of a leaderboard, we need a level playing field. And Stephen's asking about, is there any correction for those of us who get real oxygen to breathe and those up on the reef who get a little less oxygen?
So I think in general, you run wherever you are, you get timed wherever you are, so we are speaking to some sports scientists and experts in the field, to maybe look at the elite runners that, commit their whole life to the sport, to maybe create a system that we can compare the times. But that's in progress and definitely something that we will announce along the route.
I'm sure people understand that this is all brand new. We're innovating as we're going, and we're learning as we're going. So I love this question. Yeah, Stephen, look at you go. Francois, are you going to challenge Sean Fitzpatrick and your lookalike, Matt Damon? Really? I think you're much better looking.
Full stop it. I'm going to invite a lot of people, because this allows me to do this. People don't have restrictions here. All they have to do is prepare for the race, get your running shoes on and show up, as Sydney has said. So I'm going to invite so many people to share in the experience, because it is something that we're very proud of. This app, we spend a lot of money and time on this, and we want to give people an experience. Why? Because we want them to come and run the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon in the streets of Cape Town and have that great experience. So have the virtual one with your mates, and then when we all open, come back and come and run.
Can challenge absolutely anybody. So the race will have a global leading virtual app. Yes, water tables, incredible. Medals as well, can you believe it? Bibs delivered, and you'll be able to get them online. An incredible elite field. So this is a question I'm busy reading. Will this ensure we get noticed by the World Athletics to push the continent to host at an Olympics or World Champs? And also, let's be honest, we want to be one of the city marathons globally, right?
Well, that was the dream when we started. It started, Ilana came to see me for something different, and we chatted about marathons in the world, and we said, why don't we have a global must-run marathon, like London, like New York? Let's go and try and do this. Cape Town is an iconic city. Yep. People love coming here, and they will come back to the beautiful city of Cape Town. Let's go and build a global must-run marathon. Because the bigger picture is there's 10 million marathon runners globally, and they pick 2 destination marathons. Why not pick Cape Town? All we need to do is put a race together that's got a fantastic route, that's fast, and shows off the beauty of the city of Cape Town. Now we're doing it virtually.
And soon we'll be doing it
back
and
again.
Absolutely. I think, the best marathon runners, come from Africa. So we owe it to, the African continent to host, like a truly global city marathon that we're currently doing. But I think, back to the question that, are we ready to host the World Championships? I think absolutely. I think, there's a half marathon World Championships happening every second year. And, I think Cape Town, should be in the running for it.
Without a doubt. Stephen, thank you. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have any questions. We're talking about that we're going to have elites, and we're going to be announcing who they are very soon. We're super proud of our elites list as well. But that will suggest a competitive element to the race. And the question is, will there be a podium, even if it's a virtual podium?
Look, I think what's firstly we have to take into account is that we're running from 6:30 until 10:30 local time. So what that means is that we're actually going to be in what I would call mission control for 36 hours, because obviously the guys starting in New Zealand and Australia, they're going to be done with their racing by the time we start in South Africa. And by the time most people are done running and back home, the guys in the Americas will only start their race. I think truly to know who a global winner would probably be only the next day, once the global event has wrapped up and we know who has run the fastest time globally. So it wouldn't be that in South Africa that we would know by, for example, lunchtime, who the global winner would be.
But when there's a race, there's a winner. Yep. So I'm sure, one of the Kenyans one day say, you can't believe all those people that run New York City Marathon. Do they think they can win? But there is only a short, portion of the race that start the race that can potentially win it. But for sure, it's a race. There will be a winner.
But here's the human spirit that will win.
Yeah.
So there will be elite field running, but the human spirit's going to win. And that solidarity and togetherness is what we're looking forward to, is exactly what I've spoken about. The small communities, people getting together, saying, come on, let's go and do let's go and run for something. And it might be the local hospice, it might be cancer, it might be whatever. And that's the call to action, really, is there's an opportunity now for you to do something that you would never be able to do again.
And Sydney and Bella also mentioned about our frontline workers, how we want to recognise them. And maybe that's another one of the some things we run for. Anybody and everybody can do it anywhere, and you'll all feel like you're in Cape Town. I think that pretty much wraps up what has been a historic morning with some incredible announcements. And as Francois alluded to in the beginning, there will be some more incredible announcements still to come down the way. To all the members of the media, thank you for joining us this morning. Remember, stay safe, and we want to get you out there running as well.
Yeah, see you there.
Thank you, Sydney and Bella. Thank you, Jeremy Yatt. Thank you to all our sponsors and partners. Thank you, Barry, Renee, Elana, and Francois. And we'll see you for the Sanlam Cape Town Virtual Marathon, be it 5, 10, 21, or 42. We are all going to run for something. Thank you very much.